Hello everyone, welcome to the Logical Fallacy, and welcome to also a bit of an update. At the start of this, we're about to get into this really, I'm very excited about this reaction, but I wanted to, I don't know if you noticed, I'm in a bit of a different place now. I actually moved to a new apartment, that's why this all looks very different. I don't know if the lighting is worse or better. I never really cared as much as I probably should have, but if it looks bad, just let me know in the comments below. But we're about to get into this reaction. I know it's been a little bit since I've uploaded. I'm going to be trying to upload maybe a little bit more, but I just want to be mindful, I guess, because whenever work starts, it's just going to be very difficult to find the time. Because now I've got, two neighbors and I've got to be mindful of that. So we're going to jump into this reaction. This is Dawko's interview with Steelwool Studios. This is just releasing just now. A lot has been happening in the, Five Nights at Freddy's space. We got yesterday the whole Dead by Daylight crossover, which I probably should have reacted to, but I ended up getting a little bit too excited watching it on my own. It looks... I'm not really... I've never played Dead by Daylight, so I'm gonna have to actually get into the game eventually. I've been stuck in between so many different games, all of which I probably should have recorded, but that's neither here nor there. But anyways, also if you hear sound or static or anything, background noise, it's probably my fan. It gets kind of hot in here, so I'm just going to... We're gonna watch this. This premiered like 17 minutes ago, so we're a little bit behind. But we're gonna jump into this. I'm very curious. A lot has happened, obviously, since the last one, which was John fnaf. He did an interview with Steelwool last. I think that was between Help Wanted 2, which crazy to think how long ago that was now. I mean, not too far, but yeah, still crazy to think about. Alright, let's jump into this.
Hey guys, it's Dawko. I have a very special video for you today. I am so honoured to be interviewing Steelwool Studios again. This time, I've got Evan with me, and we're going to be talking about Secret of the Mimic. So, yeah.
Let me get rid of the subtitles, because it's a bit distracting.
Very excited. I've been looking forward to this game for so long. We got the trailer a couple months ago, and it looks insane. And everybody's hyped up and so excited for the release in June. So yeah, I'm excited for this interview. Well, Evan, thank you so much for coming on for
thanks
this.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you as well. I loved your posters in the back, by the way, of like the FNAF Hello Neighbor as well.
I'm missing my Help Wanted one. That's what I need.
Yeah, you did Help Wanted one, yeah. And Help Wanted 3 as well. But yeah, sort of.
Help Wanted 3? What? Huh?
How's it going? Like, how's everything going so far with Secret of the Mimic and just Steelwool Studios as a whole?
It's going really great. Things are getting all crazy, close to launch. We're in the home stretch. Everyone's working.
We are a month away, guys, from Secret of the Mimic. That is crazy to think about. That we are. Oh my goodness. Little more than a month.
Working super hard. The team is working incredibly hard to polish things up, and it always gets wild, but it's all coming together, and it's really great to see it. I think we've been doing play testing and stuff, and Trey, the regular sauce, he's been doing his tests, and it's so much fun to watch. He's having such a great time. He's about halfway through the game, and he already says it's his favorite Steelwool game ever. So that makes me...
Oh, that's really cool. Didn't realize... I mean, it makes sense. The regular sauce has been working very closely with them on a whole lot of different projects. Also, recently making the live-action video for JT Music, which, yes, I am kicking myself over not reacting, because that was, like, probably my new favorite JT Music song. But anyways...
That makes me feel very happy. But what's funny is he hasn't even gotten to the coolest parts yet. Don't tell him though. I want him to be a surprise.
Oh, that is so exciting. I love the regular sauce, and
you're getting me a little little bit interested. What are you teasing there? Halfway through the game and not to the coolest parts.
Yeah, that's so amazing to hear that it's his favourite Steel War game. I'm so excited to play it. I really am. So, what was it like developing this game, like branching out to something completely different that we haven't really seen in FNAF before, like the prequel to everything that we know so far and stuff?
Yeah, I don't want to like spoil anything.
Yeah.
But it has been really interesting to explore this new setting and in the 70s time period. These new characters with Edwin and maybe the origins of the Mimic.
So we're definitely getting more character development for Edwin. That's good.
Right. It's great because we get this opportunity to explore a side of the FNAF universe that nobody's ever seen before, and I think that's very exciting for us.
Yeah, I think loads of people are excited as well because I've always wanted a game like just before everything, like before like a FNAF Origins style game.
Right.
So yeah, I'm super excited. One thing I wanted to talk about is Ruin. So I know so many people had a positive reaction to Ruin and the vibes of Ruin. Do you guys think you took on those positive reactions from Ruin to put into this new game?
Yeah, absolutely. We've always talked about, as we're concepting this game, keeping the tone darker, more similar to Ruin. I will say there's a little bit less linear than Ruin was, but we wanted to keep a lot of the...
So a little bit more open? I mean, we do like that, as long as... So that means there's going to be a lot more, going back to new areas, or like old areas and stuff, going back to different places.
Really interesting horror elements there, right? The game is much more claustrophobic than some of the games in the past, which I think we really liked.
Because when I was at PAX, I played Secret of the Mimic in VR, right? But from the trailer, it looks like it's flat mode. Are you doing both VR and flat mode on launch, or have things changed?
Obviously he's going to answer, but I think that the official word is that they delayed the VR mode.
Changed?
Maybe not.
We pivoted a little bit. We're launching in flat, Steam and PS5 flat, and we're going to take the VR coming after launch sometime.
Yes.
Hey, that's awesome, because I get to play it twice then for videos, so thanks for that.
Exactly. That's why we do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was worried, if both came out at the same time, I was like, okay,
Right.
what am I going to do first? Am I going to do VR first? Am I going to do flat mode first? So yeah, that's awesome.
This game is probably going to be really sick in VR. I'm actually really excited. I've got like a meta quest, and I don't know, maybe doing it in the space would be good. I could move things around. That'd be a fun thing to do. I don't know if I'd be able to do that for like a video, because recording VR sucks.
I can do both then. That's amazing. So to be fair, I was probably going to do both anyway, but it's a bit easier now if they're releasing at separate times. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, if you saw at PAX, the game looks great in VR. It's super scary in VR. It's really, really great, but it's very challenging to develop both VR and flat at the same time. I mean, ultimately, these are different mediums, right? They have their strengths and weaknesses, right? The tech and the art and the design. It's challenging to keep both of these tracks, both these trains on the same track, basically, right? So we're separating it out, and hopefully we can provide the best possible experience for the most number of players at launch with flat, and then VR coming in soon after.
That's awesome. How carefully are you putting the books in consideration of Secret of the Mimic? So Tales of the Pizzaplex had a lot of lore about the Mimic and Edwin. Did you take that for this game? Yeah,
we've actually been talking about making this game for a long time, and we were developing the game kind of while these books are coming out. So, I will say it's interesting. Again, I won't go into like the books and all of that, but it's interesting to work kind of in dual mediums.
That's awesome. I'm going to take a pit stop.
Interesting. That's fascinating. So, what he just said there is that they've been thinking about this game for a while, and that they've been developing these games while the books have been coming out. So this means that the books and I think this has been obvious for a while because things have been changed from the books like before like release to make it more accurate to the games, and it seems as if, right, especially if you think about like how Ruin kind of released in correlation with the books and what was revealed and how it really set up everything. It's really interesting, and it makes sense that like these things have been in development for a while. So these things are coming from Scott, and Scott's putting these things in the books to set up what has already been planned for the games. That seems to be what kind of like this is saying.
Because Steelwall have gave me 2 posters to share during this interview. And I feel like now would be a nice time to do the first one. This is the first poster, and I'm going to show...
Locked out, your data diver is the key.
So the second poster around the end of the interview, so you guys have to stay tuned and look out for that. So yeah, the first poster that Steelwall sent me, thank you by the way, Steelwall, I appreciate it. It is a poster saying locked out, your data diver is the key.
Data diver, oh dear, are we gonna...
So, my first theory looking at that is that Data Diver has a bunch of keys on the poster as well. I'm guessing it's basically might be a mechanic where you can use the Data Diver to unlock doors and explore and stuff like that.
You're not far off. I
Okay.
think, yeah, absolutely. And it obviously has a more than a passing resemblance to the Faz wrench.
Yes.
That's
Obviously,
not
yeah.
unintentional. Yeah.
Yes, I feel like people picked up on that as well on the trailer and stuff too, that it's very similar to that. So that's interesting. I love that. So yeah, you did say previously as well that it's less linear than Ruin. So are we gonna go? I'm guessing that's more exploration in the factory and stuff. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we talk about this game, we talk about it in layers. And that applies to both the narrative and the gameplay. There is we call it the golden path, right? It's the main line that you would go to complete the game. You can follow that path.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. There's other things to do. There's other stuff to find. I'm really
that piques my interest.
curious to see what people are able to find and how quickly.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a
that
lot of
makes me so excited because I love stuff like that because obviously not going to theorize about it, but like, if you explore different places, you find things that might lead to a different ending and stuff. So that is very, very exciting. Oh my God. I'm going to shut up now.
Even him calling it the golden path is kind of crazy.
Because I'm going to be
Not
like,
for the public
you get to find like something that belongs to William Afton or something that belongs to Edwin, and you get like a see Fred Bear or something. You know what I mean? I'll shut up now. But I'm so excited. When this game comes out, I hope you guys get to see my reaction to stuff
excited.
like that. I'm going to go insane.
I love watching the reaction videos. I watch all the streams. Yeah, it's the best.
I'm going to go absolutely insane if things happen that are in my head right now. How much creative input did you guys have with the story? Was Scott involved or at all, like helping with the story, building it together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the best way to describe it is that we are creative collaborators, but Scott is always kind of the prime mover, right? He sits at the head of the pyramid. We've worked with him for many years now, so I think we've built enough trust that he allows us to make a lot of the on-the-ground decisions as long as we're following his overarching direction.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that's kind of been the development between their relationship that I think is good, and I think we saw this like we think of Scott as like somebody who's very like perhaps like I think it's easy to see him as passive because he's not so much in the community anymore, really. But like if you think about like how he reacted in like during the FNAF movie and stuff, like he was very active, like directly directing. Even now he's a writer, like he's just straight up writing the scripts and everything, which I guess he was for the first one. But the point is like he's involved with this story intimately, so it's like
If you can answer this, but how is Scott feeling about this game? Is he excited? Is he hyped up for it?
I think it's fair to say that, yes, everyone who sees this game is very excited.
Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, my God. Did you take any feedback from Help Wanted 2 as well and development with that and, you know, with Secret of the Mimic?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the impetuses for making the shift to flat is just so that we can have everyone play the game on day one, right?
Yeah.
It was one of the things we heard from Help Wanted was like, hey, that's great. I really want to play it, but I don't have a VR headset or something like that. So, okay, well.
By the way, flat mode for Help Wanted 2 was probably the, like, genuinely is still fun. Like, it's actually good. It feels like a game. They, like, majorly stepped it up from their flat mode with, like, Help Wanted 1. So, pretty crazy shift in production.
That's a bummer, right? We want everyone to be able to experience it all together on day one. And then, like, absolutely we want to support the VR side as well, but if not everyone has the headset, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I think that's the smartest thing to do as well. So everybody can play it at launch. Yeah, that's great. A lot of people have noticed new characters, new suits and stuff. That I don't think we're even in the books, the Tale of the Pizza Place books. So what was it like just having that freedom to do your own things and creativity? Probably mostly for the first time, like making your own designs of costumes and stuff.
Right. Yeah, it's funny, right? Because this game takes place in a costume workshop. So you would imagine there's more than a few interesting costumes going on here. You know, Scott really early on sent us key art that he had worked on with his artists that sort of showcased these like creepy hallways and stuff. And he said, this is kind of the tone that I want from this game. And in that key art were certain characters like the mushroom and the jester and stuff. And we were like, okay, first things first, we're building these characters. So we basically took almost all of those characters and put them into 3D.
By the way, this just like literally confirms book canonicity, like over and over and over again. Just knowing how this worked, the production, and we now know why things are different, or at least somewhat different from how they are described in the books, because it is two different creative processes, but it's like based on the same template.
3D, built them all out, and then we said, okay, well that's some. We need more. So how are we gonna? We gotta flesh out this roster here, and then we started pulling inspiration from other FNAF games and where we wanted the story to go and what sorts of things we were trying to say with the characters. And this isn't a Fazbear like facility, right? So this is, some of it can be connected and some of it's not, right? So yeah,
Dude, that literally, that's fun. That's really fun. So if you're not aware, in the books, it's explored that the factory before was actually like an old, like 40s era lace factory, and I am like really hyped for them to like potentially explore that. I hope so.
We started building these character roster out that in a way that was starting from Scott's concepts and trying to be in that same world. Gives us a great kickoff point from what kind of world he wants us to be building.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've already seen online that some of the new characters are people's favorites, which is so cool to see. And I can't wait to see that. Maybe some more characters and stuff. I don't know if we've seen them all, but yeah, it's exciting. This game is the prequel, the earliest game that we've got so far in the FNAF franchise. The early years of Fazbear Entertainment and stuff. So did any games that Scott's made or you guys have made in the past take any inspiration for the development of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we look at all of the FNAF games. I mean, at this point, we are FNAF experts, right? That's what we're paid to do. So yeah, we research very deeply into every FNAF game and look for any shreds of reference we can pull and connections we can make, because we really want this to be a contiguous part of the entire FNAF like continuum, right? We don't want it to live on its own as this weird side thing. But it's interesting too, as we're developing the game, there's these certain themes that start reemerging. Right, I call it thematic repetition. They say like, what's the saying? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. It's sort of like that, right?
Yes.
These ideas that aren't necessarily direct one-to-ones, but there are these like churning, narrative motifs that come around again. And I think we see a lot of that, and having that emerge as a prequel is a really interesting dynamic, right? Because what does it say about, right, this like the sequel influences the prequel, right?
Yes, that's awesome. How long has this been in development?
That gets me excited because that like confirms or more hints towards a lot of theories that I have personally. The fact that he's talking about thematic repetition, oh boy, I feel seen.
Development then, like you said that you were working on the game early on when the books were being made and stuff. So, how long's it been?
I think it was, we first started talking about it kind of early 2022. Yeah, long time ago. And
that's kind of.
But it was always on the back, right? It was always like we'd kick around ideas and like, oh, maybe this, maybe that, maybe here are these story beats. What does this make sense? We're talking about it while Ruin is being worked on. Eventually, Help Wanted 2 is being worked on, and we didn't get full active development until after Help Wanted 2. So it's been about a year and a half of like all hands on deck, full studio active development.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have been teasing about like this like for a while with like the Fall Fest posters and stuff. It always feels like you've had it like in your heads for a while. Like I remember in Help Wanted 1 when you guys had the Fall Fest. I think it was Fall Fest 1983 or something like that, and everybody was saying, "What? There's a Fall Fest? Have we doing Fall Fest?" And yeah, it's crazy to think that was 6 years ago, and now we're finally getting something of involving like that kind of thing. So yeah,
it's one of the fun things of working on a franchise like this is that we can look like really far in the future, and maybe we don't know exactly what forms things are going to take, but we can kind of see where we want to go and start laying some groundwork in the games that we make.
Like you said, the game's been in development for about a year and a half, right? How big is the game?
Yeah. Okay, so it's funny. It's so hilarious. We wanted to make a claustrophobic game. We were like, okay, let's make narrow hallways, small spaces, and originally being concepted, as a VR experience. Things in VR feel a lot like bigger than they are in flat, right? In VR, you can reach your hands out and touch the walls, but if you were to make a 6-foot wide hallway in flat, it would feel very narrow, whereas in VR it feels very wide, right? So we're trying to find like the right size of this building, and we know it's going to be a character workshop, we know it's a warehouse, so there's larger spaces and smaller spaces. And so like early on we said, okay, well, how big is this map compared to Security Breach? And we overlaid them, and the entire footprint of the facility could fit into Roxy Raceway.
Oh,
which I thought was hilarious. It was like, wow, I thought we made a big game. But I think for us, it was all about density of design, right?
Yeah.
And there's multiple stories and secret passageways and, hidden false walls and stuff like that. Ooh. So, you might find a smaller room, but it might have, a lot more going on than it would if it was the same content but stretched in a much larger space.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think a criticism on Security Breach was that maybe it was too big, right? So it's really cool that you guys are doing something like that, like very claustrophobic and in its own like factory and stuff. So yeah, that is very exciting.
I guess more so the more accurate question is how long is this gonna take to like complete? Like how big of an actual game is it?
To find all the secrets and the hidden vents and stuff to go through. The Mimic. Okay, so the Mimic is from the books. Just how accurate or true are you guys going to be sticking to the Mimic, or have you like? Again, this might be no. I feel like they might be spoilery, but like, have you
spoilers,
got? Yeah, like, have you changed? Yeah.
I will say, if you've read the books, you don't know the full story.
That's fair.
Okay, that's perfect. It seems like you guys, I know you guys are doing something like Edwin's Factory.
It's a confirmation that like, hey, this story has more to it, but it is based on the books. or at least not based on the books, but a continuation of the books. Because you don't know the whole story would imply that it is a part of the story.
Separate, right? But it feels like you also still trying to connect it with the FNAF universe at the same time.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't go into too much detail.
It's
of
so
course.
hard.
But I will say this game was made for FNAF fans.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of connection if you want to look for it.
Do you know, like, an average projected length on how long the game's going to be?
This is what I was wondering.
Yeah, we've been doing the regular Sauce's playthrough, and he's 6 hours in. I'd say he's about halfway through just the main line of the game, which I would say he won't even discover half the game at that point.
Dang.
So, we're looking at maybe like 8 to 10 hours for a single playthrough, and that's just like I said, like baseline.
Okay.
You could probably go 15 to 20 hours, and if you want to be a completionist about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Difficulty-wise, is this game challenging at all? Is there some hard moments that's probably going to make me cry on camera?
So we talked about layers.
Yes.
So there's like the top layer. You can stay at the top if you want, and the game is moderately challenging. It's what we would expect, like someone who's maybe never played a FNAF game before.
Yeah.
They come in, they play the game, and they have a good time, and they beat the game. They get the credits, and good job. But again, that's only the top layer.
Oh, no.
And as you go deeper, we're gonna start, maybe asking for a little bit more effort.
Dang. Oh,
I don't think it'll be like, UCN or anything.
Oh,
but,
50-20 mode. Okay.
No. But definitely, there's some more challenge the deeper you go.
So yeah, like you said, like there's like a top layer. So do you think this is easily accessible for new FNAF fans who haven't played a FNAF game before, can just dive in? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? And from a narrative way as well, right? We want to, we tell a story that everyone can understand, even if they've never played a FNAF game before. Yeah. It's a game that everyone can enjoy, right at the top. But that's just this thin veneer at the top.
That's where everybody is with Ruin, man. Everyone's saying that the top layer of Ruin, everyone's like, but nobody's thinking about like, oh, how's this person phasing through walls? That's deep. But I mean, I have theories, but also I see what you mean.
And then very quickly you start moving into deeper secrets and deeper connections and harder gameplay and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's exciting. From the trailer, we see, like I've mentioned before, new characters and stuff. Are there any that haven't been shown yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, thanks.
There's a lot. Oh my gosh. Huge shout out, by the way, to our characters team. When I pitched them what this game was going to be, their eyes like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, oh no, there's too many characters. It's like, no, we can do this. I believe in them, and they pulled it off. It's amazing.
That's so cool. Awesome. Did you guys have, because this game's set in the 70s, right? Did you guys have any other influences that inspired this game at all, like movies or other games?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously FNAF games are like the biggest influence, but outside of the FNAF games, I really was pulling a lot from Alien Isolation early on. Ooh. I think that was a really great point of reference for us, especially because Alien being kind of like a retro futurism of the 70s anyway. It has some interesting aesthetic tie-ins as well as the gameplay stuff, right? And then outside of games, I would look at like environments and tones of like 70s and 80s horror movies, like The Shining or like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and that kind of thing. Not so much for the content, but for like the aesthetics and the right. And then also I think the biggest one though, outside of all of that, are these like practical VFX workshops, like Jim Henson, like Tippett Studios, right? These practical effects shops. And if you've ever been in one of those, it's wild. You walk down these hallways and it's like there's like stories just in piles. You know, it's just like, oh, that's that thing from that movie and that thing from that commercial, and it's just spilling into their work. And they're like a hoarder. These guys, they make paths around their like movie props, and they're constantly, it's just so much creativity spilling out of every corner. And then a lot of the digital VFX guys in those shops work next to the practical VFX guys. So they're on their computers, but they're getting like, splatters from the paint and stuff. And it's just such a really cool, gritty environment. And we really wanted to pull from that. So, a while back we did some work with Tippett, and we went there, it was many years ago. And there's the guys that did the Jurassic Park, practical VFX and stuff.
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
It was really great seeing that. Those were, I'd say, our biggest real world inspirations.
That is so cool. So yeah, like in the factory, like from some of the screenshots that we got of some of the rooms in the trailer, like shelving units with just a bunch of random different props and stuff everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait for that, because like I'm assuming you guys have put like props and stuff in that FNAF fans are probably gonna pick up on. So
yeah.
That's
when
awesome.
the regular sauce was playing, he'd be like going through some of these and be like, "Oh my god, that looks just like my workshop." And I'm like, "That's
awesome.
Successful.
That's awesome. Developing this game, has it been a challenge? Have you had some like challenges that you've had to face, or has it been just a breeze basically? I don't feel like anything is a breeze. There's some ups and downs with every project and stuff.
Sure, yeah. Collaboratively making art has a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And
creative differences.
I would say this game has gone a lot more smoothly than maybe you would expect. I think this was one of our better.
I think that it's interesting because, like, if you look at the production time, and also this helps too that they have like 90 employees now. So like obviously things are gonna go much smoother than Security Breach, because like they had like a dozen people working on that game, like, which is kind of crazy to think about, the fact that like this game looks so good as far as like just the quality of it, and the fact that it's like that big as far as like story and everything. I'm so excited about this, definitely, but also I understand what he's saying here.
Productions, as far as that goes, I think the team is absolutely amazing. They are really pushing the boundaries of what we as a studio are capable of. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I think this game is some of the best work this studio's ever made.
It looks so
I'm so excited. And you can't even answer this, but after Secret of the Mimic, are you guys still in your FNAF brains after Secret of the Mimic? Future plans?
He asks in an elusive manner.
I wouldn't know. I
mean,
I think it's obvious.
Yeah, no comment on that one.
Scott said that there was one more that he was really, really excited about that wasn't Secret of the Mimic. So we already know.
Right, I'm gonna get the next poster up, because when I saw this one, it made my brain start functioning a bit better than it is at the moment. Next poster that Steelwall sent me. Again, thank you so much.
Hold on.
Yeah.
MCM. Basic Security Repair Creator Admin Executive. Huh, there's Executive. Your data diver knows. Admin. Security. We've seen these symbols all over the place over, like, the different teasers. This is interesting. Huh. Weird. Executive. This is, like, the main symbol we've been seeing. But this doesn't feel like... This feels really weird for, like MCM obviously fits with Murray... costume manner, but like weird. This doesn't feel right as like him being like a lone creator. Your data diver knows is weird too. What does that even mean? Where do you belong? Your data diver knows. Oh, this is getting into some like glitch trap territory. My goodness.
This one made me theorize a bit more. So the poster says, where do you belong? Basic, security, repair, creator, admin, executive. Your data diver knows. And at the top right, it's MCM. I'm guessing is that Murray's costume manor?
I think, yeah, that is
Okay, awesome. Is this a mechanic in the game? Is this teasing a mechanic in the game, or is it just a poster?
Well, it's not random.
Yeah.
There's definitely tie-ins to the game and the progression loop of the game.
The symbol that made me think the most is the executive symbol. If this is the if the data diver has these different things, it's hard. Do these different symbols give us access to different areas?
That would be that'd be one thought. Yeah.
I just want to theorize with you, even though this is the problem.
let's think about this.
That is, I mean, talk about that. I'm just gonna say it. This poster right here is like majorly glitch trap coded. Like, my goodness, your data diver knows. What does that even mean? What the heck is going on here? Why is it? He's a contractor.
This together.
Yeah, because the problem is, right, I can theorize loads, right, but you know the answers. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm cheating, yeah.
Because I think from the trailer, I think we did see, like, the helper on the computer, right? I feel like that might have tie-ins to this and stuff, and maybe logs on the computer. But yeah, it's very exciting. It really is. Do you guys have anything cool planned before the release of the game?
Yeah, so after the interview launches, be sure to stay tuned to our socials, and maybe we'll tease something up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can't wait for that. Get everybody hyped up for the release. It's coming up very...
I think it's time for a new trailer, man. It's been like a month, I think.
It's came around so quickly. It literally feels like last week I was at PAX playing the game in VR. It's crazy how quickly development with games go. Like, Security Breach was like, what, 4 years ago when it released? It's weird. Any final thoughts that you want to give out to the fans watching?
Yeah, I just want to, like, quickly, Dawko, say thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to everyone who ends up watching this. We love making FNAF games, and we couldn't do it without the incredible support of the community. Like I said before, we make games for the fans, and that's like a responsibility. I know everyone loves this franchise so much, and that's a responsibility that we take really seriously. So to see the community like reaction to the demo and the trailers and like all the fan art that's been being made, it just means a lot. So yeah, thank you.
It's going to be so exciting. I'm sure everybody's going to love it. The reaction to the game, was so positive when the trailer came out and stuff, and you guys seem to be experimenting with gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, like taking FNAF in a fresh direction, right? And I feel like it needed that. I really do. I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm thankful for Scott for finding you guys in the first place back when Help Wanted came out, and you guys have been doing amazing things since then, so it's very exciting. Very, very exciting. I can't wait. I have a question for you.
Okay. What are you most excited about from what you've seen? What's the thing you most want to see in the game?
Okay. Well, I don't know if you watch my videos, but I want... Everything I've seen so far is great, by the way. But I want... The thing what I love about FNAF is juicy lore. I love lore so much, and I just want to know, like, what's going on, like Fazbear Entertainment's involvement, and I'd really, really love to see some involvement with Fredbear's Family Diner, and seeing those Fredbear Family Diner posters on the walls everywhere, and I don't know, I feel like something's gonna happen, and I'd love to
sure of it.
Just lore, just the story about Edwin as well. Edwin's involvement, like what's Edwin been up to, and obviously lore about the Mimic, and yeah, Fazbear Entertainment's involvement, like them wanting the Mimic so badly, and the ending of this game too. I'm very, very interested in, like, you know, because in the future games, like Edwin is kind of forgotten about, right? And I just want to see just what happens with the factory, and just again the involvement with Fazbear Entertainment. I'd love to see. This is very high, you know, but I'd love to see like Henry or William being involved somehow. That would be really cool too. So yeah, you
Awesome.
obviously can't confirm anything.
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah.
I can't confirm or deny anything, but hopefully we won't disappoint.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we got something
awesome.
for you.
Yeah, nice. Okay, Evan. So from this interview, you answered the question so passionately. Where did that like passion of like game development come from? Have you got like any? I'd love to learn more about you. You know, I'm sure everybody else would too.
Sure. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I feel like I'm an artist, and games in general, I think, are the ultimate art form.
Yeah,
You know, it has
I love it.
the aesthetics and the narrative. I started my career in animation, and so being able to tell stories is something that I love, and I think games do it better than anybody else. That being said, the FNAF community is why I love making FNAF games. Truly, we've worked on a couple different IPs in the past, and you know, the communities there are fine, but nothing compared to FNAF fans. We've been working on this franchise since Help Wanted 1, and that was, I don't know, I think we started maybe like 8 years ago now or
That's
something.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's just been an amazing, amazing experience. So thank
That's
you.
awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Evan.
It's kinda
We're
crazy.
going to end it there, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed the interview and it's hyped you up more for Secret of the Mimic. I'm sure there's lots more hype to come after this interview from Steelwall. So that's very, very exciting.
Very excited.
And yeah, I just can't wait. I can't wait. From what you've said, Evan, about how long the game is and how much exploration there is, and it's just very exciting. I can't really speak how excited I am. Like, I really, truly am. And yeah, that will be on the channel, guys. Massive thank you, Steelwall, for giving me this opportunity to interview the wonderful Evan. Shout out to Aisha and Jessica as well, who are lurking in the call, listening to everything I say. June 13th on PlayStation, Secret of the Mimic, guys. Make sure to get hyped and ready for that. It's very, very exciting. And yeah, just a massive thank you again, Evan. Steelwall, everybody, I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys are more excited now, and yeah, I don't know what to say now, so I'm just going to end it because I keep rambling about how excited I am. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and yeah, you'll see me playing Secret of the Mimic in about a month or so, probably screaming my head off. So yeah, bye guys.
Me too. Okay, can we go back to that poster real quick? I want to look at that. This right here. This is so, like, first of all, this is so confusing for me. I'm gonna have to wrestle with this in my brain. Obviously, it's alright if it ventures away from the books, because obviously this was made before the books were even a thing, right? Or at least were being in development. So it's like Scott's plans for this and story may not be 100% lining up, but the point is, Edwin Murray in the books was just like a contractor. Had been working for Fazbear Entertainment for like 2 months or something. Nowhere near this level of like involvement at all. Enough to like, why would you create your own? Like, this feels very like, you know, like we had After Robotics. This feels very strange, especially to imply you had coworkers and like people who worked for you, like to have basic security repair. This feels like an entire operation. But it's interesting that they said it wasn't Fazbear Entertainment that owned it. But we also saw in the 5 Laps at Freddy's teaser or demo that Dawko did on his stream, that Edwin has the same origins that he created a vacuum machine company. So it's like, feels very strange. And it's like, was this his, like, this is, he owned this for a while, so it's like, maybe he could have developed this all for his, like, vacuum. But if it means Murray Costume Manor, that doesn't really make sense. So, but this right here, too. And also thinking about this, are we going to see the Vanny mask? Because the poster we saw in Help Wanted 2 was potentially, like, kind of older, potentially from, like, the 70s. So it's possible that could have been a part of this, and it was like clock in, put on your mask, or like clock out, take off your mask. This is weird. This right here, your data diver knows. Where do you belong? Just the way this is phrased feels very glitch trap coded. If it's the mimic, then I mean. But, like, I don't know. It's just, it all feels very strange and out of place. So I'm very curious to know what all the secrets are. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll see you guys next time.